Vistelar, addressing the entire spectrum of human conflict.
Hello, my name is Gary Klugiewicz. I'm the Director of Training for Verbal Defense and Influence, which is part of the Vistelar Group, which is a global training company that addresses the entire spectrum of human conflict. The reason I'm addressing you today is that I want to talk to you about a class that we're putting on in the United Kingdom from October 25th to 28th, 2016. This is going to be a class on verbal defense and influence, an instructor class. Now, first of all, let me introduce myself, because who am I? My name is Gary Klugiewicz. I've been training for a long time. I started my martial arts training back in the 1970s. I've trained for police, I've trained corrections, I've trained mental health, I've trained a lot of people over time. I'm noted for my the physical skill training that I do. I'm noted for the development of an active countermeasure program, which is how to knock down people. But over that time, I've also learned verbalization skills. And I've been trained with the best throughout the country, throughout the world. I've trained with the best of how to talk people down, how to resolve conflict. Now, one of the things that we like to talk about in our training is what makes us different. We have a basic philosophy that we should treat everyone with dignity and show them respect. Treat them with dignity and show them respect. And to do that, we follow the platinum rule, which says very simply that you want to treat people like you like to be treated under identical circumstances. If you were drunk and disorderly in the booking room, meaning in a jail, how would you want to be treated? If you were on Christ on the street and losing it, how would you want to be treated? And I think you'd all agree with dignity and showing respect. But the question is, how do you do that? How do you show people respect, especially if there's conflict going on? Well, very simply, you listen to people with all your senses. You ask them rather than tell them to do stuff. You explain why you're asking them to do it. You give them the reasons. You want to give them options rather than threats. And finally, you want to give them a second chance whenever possible. But realize that we understand, because we train a lot of people. We train police, we train corrections, we train healthcare, we train education, we train utility workers, we train private citizens. But in doing that, when you're talking with someone and there's conflict, people are going to make bad decisions. You're not responsible totally for the outcome, but you are responsible for the process, how you got there. And especially in the United States, and I'm sure this is all over the world now, everything's on video. You want to look good on video, meaning looking professional, no matter where this ends up. So that's one of the things that we do, very simply, is that we have a basic philosophy. We also, a lot of people always talk about de-escalation. Well, the point of it is, if we had more non-escalation, we wouldn't have to have so much de-escalation. So we talk about the 5 C's of communication. We have to start with normal, contact of someone, initial contact, a normal conversation. We then have to have verbal conflict, verbal crisis. At some point in time, it might go into combat, and finally, you have to have closure, what happens afterwards. We call these the 5 C's of communication, and we train all 5 because all are very important in order to get the job done. Now, also, when we train people, we do what we call emotionally safe, performance-driven instruction. Emotionally safe because it's safe to be in the class, but it's performance-driven. We're all about doing fire drills, not just fire talks. A lot of training that goes around the world, it doesn't matter what the topic is, conflict resolution for one, a lot of them are fire talks. They are lectures. We like to do fire drills. We teach people how to perform under pressure, how to do what they need to do, how to make that initial contact with someone in conflict, how to deflect verbal abuse, how to persuade someone, how to know when it's time to switch from talking to doing, whether it's getting out of dodge, leaving the area, or whether it's moving in to control someone. And most importantly, after it's all over, how to deal with closure. How to leave that person feeling better than feeling at their worst, so it doesn't end up being a situation where next time you meet, round 2 starts. Right off the bat, you start going at it. We don't want that to happen. What we want to do is the next time we meet, we want to have a better resolution and a better beginning to the concept. And so very simply, we want you to attend this class. Now, who should attend? We train everyone. All the public safety, healthcare, mental health, education, business, we train them all. And we train for organizations so you can go back and train your company's people how to get the job done. At the end of this, you're going to see a whole bunch of different links that you can look at. To look at our Facebook pages, to look at our websites, to register for the class. But most importantly, we want you to realize that in this day and age, we have to be able to deal with conflict to keep it from turning into crisis and combat. We want to be able to bring it down, and we want to be able to do this non-escalation, how to start the dance on a very even keel so it doesn't escalate higher. If we would do more non-escalation, we wouldn't have to do so much de-escalation. We hope to see you at the class.